Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Connor, and today I'm going to be going over something a little bit more on the serious side, a bit more serious than my other videos. And so, in anyone's life, they have some times where they feel a little bit lost, they don't know what to do, and then they wonder why things are happening to them and why they're in this position. Okay, and the mentality behind a lot of people, or the people that might talk to you, is, oh, hard times, like they'll go away, and I'm just gonna say fuck all that. Like, that's a bunch of bullshit. That's not true at all. Nothing's ever gonna change if you keep the same interpretation of certain situations. And what do I mean by that? I mean, some super bad things can happen in your life that you think are super bad, and from someone that's at another standpoint, maybe that someone that's already gone through it, will look at it as something awesome that's gonna better you and bring you more towards what you're overall meant to do in your life. I don't know you're religious or you're not, but a lot of people believe that they have a certain purpose in life. And so, like I just said, someone that's already gone through it and has already that's already reaped the rewards of what that situation may have caused is going to see it in a totally different way than you. So, there's been a lot of situations that I've gone through that only the people that are like the closest to me know about. And I can tell you right now that if it wasn't for those situations, I would be nowhere near where I am. I know I'm not the most successful person in the world. I'm not a multi-millionaire. I don't live in a mansion or anything like that. But I do pretty well for myself, at least according to the people whose opinions really matter to me. For my age, I'm 18 years old, and I've been on ABC. I've run multiple stores and multiple successful businesses, or what I consider successful. And I can tell you right now that if I wasn't in a bad situation that I was in a few years ago, then I would not have wanted to prove myself. I was hanging around with not the best kids. I was doing not the best stuff. And so when something bad happened and I really looked at these kids like, dang, these guys aren't really my friends. Like, they're not going to be there if something bad happens. That put me in a position where I could be by my own. I didn't have the pressure of having to impress those people. I didn't have the pressure of really just doing everything, not because I wanted to do it, but just because they wanted me to do it. I really had time to focus on myself and figure out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to focus on. And from there, I know it might not make a lot of sense, but from there, the way that I proved myself a few years ago was I would sell clothes, and I would always go to school in the freshest clothes. Like, I would have Supreme, I would have Off-White, I'd have like Louis Vuitton, everything. And I don't wear that stuff anymore, but that's what I had, and that was some big success to me, considering all the people around me were wearing like active and hand-me-downs, and I was buying everything on my own. I was paying for my gas, I was paying for everything like that. I didn't drive the nicest car. I bought a nice car recently, but that was not through selling clothes. And then from there, the bad stuff happened a few years ago, and then from there I went into selling clothes. And if I would have not gone into selling clothes, I wouldn't have seen the world of courses and everything you can learn when it comes to starting an online business. Like e-commerce, digital marketing, consulting, the three things that I focus on, the three things that I teach my students that join my program. I would not have found out about any of that stuff if it wasn't because of the selling clothes. Actually, the way that they connected was someone that would sell clothes with me that I was close friends with, that I met through the business. He stopped doing it, and he had a lot more money. He was living a lot better. And so I messaged him and asked him, and I would not have connected to that guy if it wasn't for that. And then as far as networking, the reason how I've been able to network with such big people is partially through growing my Instagram account through e-commerce, because people saw some of the success that I had. I know I have it on my Instagram, and so people saw that, people started talking about me, and then I started to get a little bit of clout, I guess. And then I actually went to a family member's party, and they have a friend who runs their own digital marketing agency. And from there, I had gone through a bunch of courses, so I knew my shit when it come to ads. Like, I could run ads like no one else, that at least I know. Like, he had his own agency, he was doing well, and then I just started talking to him at the party, and he was asking what I do, I was talking to him about what he does, and then he just said like, oh, let's exchange numbers. He gave me his card, I gave him a call a few days later. We set up another call, and then from there he gave me a chance to run an ad for him. It was actually a Facebook ad, and I actually 3x'd his results, and now I'm a part of that agency. And come to find out, he was one of the top network marketers on Wall Street. And so from there, I've been able to meet the CEOs of Monster. I've been able to just meet a bunch of people and go to a bunch of events where I've been able to network with those people. And so if that bad stuff would not have happened to me a while ago, I would not be anywhere near where I am today. And so to sum it all up, obviously you guys haven't gone through all the same events that I have, but interpretation and response are really the only two things that you can really control in your life. So interpretation, how you see things. Like I started off the video with, you could see something as super bad, but it can end up being the best thing that ever happened to you. Like everyone always thinks like, oh, the world's against you, the world's against you. If you're religious, then you believe that you're gonna go where you're supposed to go no matter what. So that hard thing is probably bettering you, maybe in a hard way or the way that you don't want it to, but it's honestly pushing you to be the person that it takes to do what you're meant to do, if that makes sense. So making progress towards something is the definition of happiness in a lot of very successful people's vocabulary. So progress is what you should be moving towards or trying to make, and that should be your ultimate goal. Just making progress, just bettering yourself, and how you're going to do that is having these hard events. So your interpretation on things. If you look at it as this is, or you can either look at it as this is making me better, or you can look at it as I've gone through this and I didn't break, so nothing can break me at all. That's another way of looking at it. Or, and then like I was saying, the response, it's not always how you look at things, because you obviously, you know, it's like talking about something. Someone can talk about doing all this stuff, and then everyone knows someone that's just all talk and doesn't do anything with it. So you can respond, you can see things in a way, even if you change your whole mentality, you can see these hard things in a positive way, but if you don't do anything with them, then you're not going to make any progress. You're not going to be bettering yourself. So if you're having like a situation with a bad relationship with like a friend or a family member, just sitting in your room crying about it isn't going to do anything. That's not a response. That's like just interpreting it bad and just doing absolutely nothing. So you really got to face these problems head on. Like one of the things that I've learned is when there's a problem and it's in the back of your head, if it's in your head, my rule is if it's in my head for like more than 48 hours and I just think about it for more than 48 hours, I need to face it head on. That doesn't mean like just letting time pass, time fixes everything. That's just basically letting these things grow. Like there's an analogy, you hold a glass of water for 30 seconds, you're fine. You hold it for 30 minutes, you start to cramp up. If you hold it for a day, then your arm will be paralyzed. So the longer that you hold on to things and the longer that you don't do anything with that interpretation and create a response, you're not going to be making any progress, and that situation will just push you down farther in life. So to sum up this video, I know it's been kind of long and a lot more personal than it probably should have been, but really focus on the two things that you really can't control, because there's a lot of things in your life that you cannot control, but if you can see situations that happen around you, there's a lot of things that you can't control, like I just said, and you're able to interpret those things in the most positive way that you can and respond to them in the most productive way you can, you'll really move forward in your life. Things will start to get easier, and you'll really notice that you're bettering yourself as a person and just ultimately being more of a problem solver. So that's just how I want to sum it up. I'm going to be trying to upload twice a week. I know I've been saying this and I really have been committing to it. So if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow.